Josh Smith here. Hopefully you're hearing me. I'm excited to be joining you. Thank you, Bax and Ibanez, for setting up this, because it's always thrilling for me to be able to talk about the FLATV1, the FLATV1, this guitar, because I'm so proud of it and so excited about it. So we're going to do all sorts of talking and playing and answering questions. And once again, it's just a joy to join you. My name's Josh Smith. This is the FLATV1. I call it the FLATV1. And man, just so proud of this guitar. I think everything's working. I hope. Maybe I'll get another text here in the next 2 seconds to know that we're A-OK, 100%. But if so, I'm going to play a little bit of music to kind of ease us in. All right, we're good. I got the we are good. So I'm going to play a little bit of music. This is a tune called Fulfillment for my Inception record. I'll play a little bit of it. I don't know that what the heck, I'll play the whole thing. It's not that long. And then we'll get into it. All right. Ruling. We're moving along. We're rolling along. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on YouTube. Thanks, Bax. Thanks, Ibanez. It's a pleasure to be here and to talk about this guitar. So let's talk about how the Flat 5.1, the Flat V1 came to be as part of the AZS line and all of that. So anyways, Rocky and Mike at Ibanez approached me. It might be like 3 years ago now when the AZ was coming out. To have me come over and just have a chat. So I came over to Ibanez Custom Shop here in Los Angeles, California, and I got to play an AZ for the first time, and I was really, really impressed with the guitar. And some of my friends had started to use AZs, Tom Quayle, Martin Miller, and others, and I was just impressed with the quality of the guitar. So that was the first like moment of, you know what, hey, this is something I should think about, because you know, it was just a really, really well done guitar, really well made. Then Rocky said, hey, so we want to do this new single cut T-style project, and we kind of want you to be the guy to help with that and to make a signature model. And honestly, I was kind of sold right away after feeling the quality and hearing the quality of the AZ, and then having the discussions with Rocky and Mike and knowing that they were open to me bringing in my ideas and the things that, you know, I've learned over the years that make a guitar like this really great. They were really open to hearing all of that. They wanted to hear all that from me and to have my input. So there was really nothing stopping me from doing this. It was a complete win-win situation. And I've just been so thrilled working with Mike and Rocky and everybody at Ibanez. And the process has been amazing. The guitar is just better than I could have hoped. Honestly, since January, I haven't played anything but this guitar. And it's lived up to the bill in every way. And there's actually started to be gigs finally again. So I finally got to actually take it out of the studio and onto stage. And it's also delivered in spades. There hasn't been a single moment where I've been playing this guitar and thought, where's my beloved black telly that I played my whole life, you know? And no, I mean, I'm 100% comfortable on this guitar, and it just sounds fantastic. And there were no compromises. They really let me do what I wanted to do with this guitar. So that's kind of how the project came about, and how, you know, we got into the weeds of, you know, designing the guitar and all that. Even when I was in Japan a couple years ago, some of the Ibanez team in Japan came to my show, and they were all so respectful and so excited about the project that it was like, it was just a no-brainer for me to kind of do this. And like I said, I've been thrilled with everybody's contribution to the project, everybody's, you know, ability to communicate, and just the excitement and earnestness that everybody has shown for the guitar. You know, the response has been really, really positive, as have, I think, the pre-sales, which is really cool. And it's such an honor to have a guitar with such an iconic brand like Ibanez that's filled with such good people working both in the company and also with, you know, good peers and friends who have been with Ibanez for so many years as players. It was just, you know, a dream come true, and it is a dream come true. So let's hear this guitar, right? And then we'll talk about some of the specific details. But here's the guitar plugged in just by itself. Nope, I'm going to turn off all pedals. I'm going to mute this mic for a second and just go through the 3 pickups. I forgot to mute it while I was playing. I won't forget anymore, so you get the purest sound. And I'm just going to go through clean, straight into my Morgan PR12 amp, which is like a Fender amp, and that's all you're hearing. All right, so you can hear it's a really dynamic sound from this guitar. There were no compromises in making this guitar. Everything I wanted to do, we achieved. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the guitar itself now, and then maybe play another tune. So the Ibanez FLATV1 is kind of what you think it is, obviously. It's got a roasted maple neck. It's got 25.5-inch scale. It's got nickel frets on this one because I prefer nickel frets. And there's some things on this neck that Ibanez, I don't want to say have never done before, but are unique for an Ibanez. And that's the shape of the neck. It's a vintage V-shaped neck. The frets on the neck, it's 21 frets, and they're a specific size that I really like, which is not too big, but still large. You know, they're not vintage frets, but they're not giant jumbos. They're a specific number that I like, and if you ask me offline, I'll tell you the number. The other thing we've got is vintage tuners. So string down into the body tuners, you know, and that's really, really exciting. I don't think there's any other Ibanez with these tuners. Also 21 frets. There may be one or two other Ibanezes with 21 frets, but this is the only AZS with 21 frets, and I'm really proud of that. Also, no contour, no special access heel. This is, you know, very much a vintage-inspired guitar, and the fact that Ibanez let me do that was a pleasure. And I see there's a question, what are the differences between the FLATV1 and the other AZSs? These are some of the differences. The different neck shape, the different tuners, the different frets. I believe all the other ones have stainless steel frets. This one has nickel frets and a different size fret wire, 21 fret neck. So these are some of the differences right off the bat. Okay, so Ibanez was really open to letting me do all of those things. Some of the other differences, okay, some of the other AZSs are ash, like this body, but they have contours. This has no contour. It's complete slab body, vintage style, which is really important to me. Other things that this one has that the other models do not have are my special pickups and the pots and caps that are in this guitar. Because, again, Ibanez let me go through every aspect of this guitar. So these are Seymour Duncan signature pickups, the Flat 5 pickups. They'll also be available a la carte at some point. And, man, another, you know, I worked really hard on these as well. You heard just then as I ran through them. Sorry. That they're really dynamic, and you know the pickups that were in my main guitar for many years, we analyzed them and checked them out, and they were actually pretty unique, and that's what's going on here. We've got a really, really vintage style neck pickup that is really, really versatile, and it has just a little bit more gain than a standard Telecaster pickup. While remaining that sweetness, you know, keeping the sweetness around. When we're in the middle, you get a really special thing because the bridge pickup is a special formula. But here's the middle pickup, and it has that classic. That classic sound. And then the bridge pickup is mixed magnet Alnico 2 and Alnico 4, which is something really unique and special, and it's what gives this pickup the versatility it has, and also just the really fat but still twangy tone, which I think is something special that my old guitar has, and this one also delivers in spades. It's able to, you know, take your head off when you wanted to without ever being painful and still being fat. If I put the gain on, you know, it's... But if I lighten up my attack, you know... And those are things that are really important to me. I like kind of having a lack of compression. I only want the most natural and least amount of compression I can get. So I'm looking for dynamic range, headroom, clarity, and everything that I use has to kind of you know, fall into those standards and commit to those standards. And this guitar does that. These pickups do that. But we even went further. The pots and caps in this guitar are handpicked based on what sounds right with these pickups, what sounds right for the tone that I go after. So it's a very specific value on the tone cap, a specific material cap. It's a specific volume knob taper and value. Everything about it. Even the actual knobs themselves were 3D printed a bunch of times for me to get the feel right, the height right, the knurl right, which means the rough part on the side of these T-style knobs, you know, getting the right roughness that won't be like sandpaper and rip your skin off, but that you can grab really easy and move around. And again, Ibanez is totally open to all those things. Like the other AZSs that have this style bridge, it has titanium saddles. And the cool thing about that is I already used titanium saddles. I was a huge fan of that. So that wasn't even, you know, like, hey, will you try titanium? I was already asking for titanium, and that was already going to be the standard. And I think that adds to some of the piano-like clarity that you're hearing in the guitar. Man, it's just a really great guitar. There haven't been any compromises, like I said, on this guitar. I just love it, and I'm very proud of it. I think I'll play another tune now, and, you know, then maybe we'll get some questions in. But, yeah, I'm going to play a nice, slow ballad. It's my hit single. Here comes Penance, y'all. And I'm remembering to mute the mic. All right. That's called Penance. That's also on the Inception record, which is my instrumental album. Thanks, everybody, for listening. See a couple questions coming in. Why did I choose the slab body? Is there a tonal difference? There might be a slight tonal difference, but for me, it's more of a comfort factor. And I know that seems really weird, right? But for me, it's more comfortable. I kind of like the sharp edge. I like the more substantial body. I like the feel of the slab body and the way that it feels when I play it. It just feels right to me. I don't love kind of having that weird rolled over arm here or the tummy cut. Especially don't like the tummy cut back there. I'd even take a Strat without that. But yeah, it wasn't so much a tonal thing, but more a comfort thing. You know, I'm not trying to be vintage. It's just what I prefer, you know, from a personal standpoint. So, but, you know, more mass, more wood, more tone maybe, at least slightly. Another question I see come in. Do you use hybrid picking in your playing? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you can see it that well on the camera angle, but almost everything I do is hybrid pick, switching back and forth. Like if I turn this way, you can see a little bit of the way that I pick. So there's a lot of hybrid picking going on. Hybrid picking is a difficult thing to teach because everybody does it in a very personal way because it's more of a, you know, physical technique as opposed to something you just teach. You do what feels comfortable to you individually. Why 21 frets? Again, same thing like the slab body, same thing like the tuners. It's what I'm really used to. When I change strings, believe it or not, when I have to go through the hole and cut and do, it just, I'm slower that way. You know, if I have to change strings on a Gibson or something like that, locking tuners or through the hole. Whereas on a guitar like this, when I can just go stick it down in the hole tune, I can do that so fast. It's what I'm used to. It's what I prefer. And I also think I think it works better. It stays more in tune to me. The 21 frets, again, I like the spacing of the frets better with 21. You have a little more room up here when you get up high. And I never really need that high D, you know. If I do, I'll bend to it. Yeah, I just like the way 21 frets feels, and it's what I'm comfortable on. My hand lays out the right way on it. Not that I don't enjoy playing a 22 fret neck or 24 fret neck. It's fine. But this, you know, this guitar was all about what are the things that I love. I mean, this is the guitar I'm going to play for a long time. And, you know, I wanted it to be a good balance of the things that I love and make it my guitar while also making it a good guitar for everybody. I think that makes this a unique option within the Ibanez line. If you want 22 frets and you want stainless steel frets and regular tuners and contours and all that, you can get the standard AZS. But if you want something maybe a little more vintage minded, that's been kind of tuned for a specific thing with specific pickups, specific specs, you know, then the Flat V1 is the one for you to go for, I think. You know, hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of the way that I'm looking at it, and when I talk to people, that's kind of what I'm thinking. What's my current pedal board setup signal flow in the studio? In the studio, it's a little bit different than live. I have I have small, medium, and large boards. That sounds terrible, but I do. I have a large board that lives here in the studio, but actually right now I'm plugged into my medium board because it's the newest one to have been rewired, and it has some cool stuff on there. It's a Schmidt-Array board from Germany. It was wired here in the States. It's controlled by a Morningstar MIDI controller. It has a Voodoo Lab looper in there. It has one control stereo loops that I helped them design for some of the stereo pedals so that everything could be switched MIDI. And of course it has my standbys, the Love Pedal Chulo, which is what you've been hearing this whole time, the Vemoram Myriad fuzz, which is my signature fuzz. This also has the big Vemoram Myriad because there's some crazy routing I can do with this pedal board. Some new things on this board are the Chase Bliss Preamp Mark II and the Poly Digit /Bebo, which is an absolutely incredible pedal. And with the routing on that and the routing on the Myriad, I've been able to come up with a bunch of cool things on this board that I couldn't do on any other boards. But, you know, I'm like an interesting guy. I'm a vintage-minded, mostly blues-based guitar player who's also an extreme gear nerd. So, like, all this stuff, even on the guitar, I need to know why. Why do I like this? Why is that what I want? And let me be able to explain it. I've done the homework to know what works for me. And the same thing with the pedals. I like to be informed and know what's up. And, you know, I keep fine-tuning what really works for me and what's, you know, what's the right next move or whatever. So I really love this pedal board. You've pretty much just been hearing the Chula and some slapback delay so far when I played through the tunes. Will there be a premium version of the Flat V1? Well, that's up to you guys, I would say. If it sells as well as I hope it sells, then I hope they will make a more affordable premium version of the Flat V1. That would be incredibly exciting to me. I hope all the things that people keep asking me for become a reality, because then that means the guitar is a success. You know, so I hope there's a left-handed version one day. I hope there's many colors of this guitar. You know, all those things. I hope that those things come to reality, because that'll mean the guitar's selling well, and Ibanez thinks it's worthwhile to do these things. So I really, really hope so. But especially the premium, I hope that's the next, you know, thing to happen with this guitar, is that we get a premium version. So fingers crossed, you know, that they're coming. The numbers are where we want them to be. So pick one up, pick one of these up, you know, and, you know, or encourage your friends who have more money to pick one of these up. Even though I think this guitar is quite a bargain for what you get. Let's really break down what you're getting with this guitar for your US $2,500. You know, I don't know what it is in euro exactly, but you're getting a roasted maple neck. You're getting these cool inlays, which I think people don't talk about enough, the luminlays. They're really cool. And now that I finally played a gig with it, I have appreciated how great they are under dim light on the stage, you know. You're getting, you know, great tuners. You're getting really good frets and fret work. That's another thing. Straight off the line, the fretwork on this guitar rivals very, very expensive custom shop guitars. You're getting custom pickups that were made just for this guitar, and, you know, were tweaked and tweaked until I was happy. You're getting, you know, a different wiring assembly in this guitar. That's not just a PCB board wiring assembly. You know, no, this was all thought of and chosen for this guitar. You're getting an ash body. You're getting titanium saddles. Titanium is expensive. You know, you're getting basically a very, very high-end guitar for what I feel is a very reasonable price, especially when you compare it to the competition, quite honestly. So I'm really proud of it. I also think it just looks really great. You know, this angled control plate, the angled switch, makes switching pickups such a joy. More like on an S-style guitar, which I've always loved switching because I switch so frequently. Man, it's just laid out really well, and I think it looks cool as heck with the matching black headstock and the black guitar and the rounded pickguard, and, you know, I love the way the pickguard cuts through the bridge here and through the control plate. I'm just really proud of that. Yeah, this is fun. It's fun getting the questions from Mike via text. I'm enjoying that. So hopefully, if you have a few more questions, I will answer them. And here comes another one. Why did I choose roasted maple? Okay, so my main guitar was not roasted maple. It was regular maple, quarter sawn. And obviously, I've been aware of the trend of roasted maple for the last 10 years with guitar manufacturers. And I have a couple other guitars with roasted maple. And the thing I was most impressed with about roasted maple was the stability. I wasn't like, oh my God, it sounds so much better. Excuse me. That wasn't the case. You know, it does sound great, but it wasn't like, oh my God, it sounds so much better. We have to have roasted maple. It was more the stability of the guitar, kind of, when traveling. That's what's blown me away about roasted maple, is that it's very stable. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't move. And I use really, really heavy strings, and that's a big bonus to me, is having roasted maple neck, that, you know, I'm not constantly adjusting the stress relief and the action on the guitar, moving the truss rod around, because it stays straight as an arrow on this guitar. And that's, I think, the biggest benefit to roasted maple that people don't talk about quite as much. Everybody loves the way it feels and looks and sounds. All great. But for me, it was mostly about stability. Ooh, excuse me with that sneeze. If not black, what would you like the next color of the Flat 5.1 to be? Ooh, I have so many in mind. I would love to have a white guard version. So, you know, white pick guard, but with, like, you know, faded white, vintage white, Olympic white, or cream color. I would love to have desert sand with an anodized gold guard. I think that would look incredible. I'm a huge fan of desert sand. Yeah, so definitely those two. And while not normally a red guitar guy, this thing in Fiesta Red with a matching headstock would be pretty sick. So, I don't know. We've talked about a few ideas, but Desert Sand's probably my favorite, or like a straight up vintagey white guard look would be really, really cool as well. And I got a big mic too. I want to I want one all gemmed out. I want a swirl one with a monkey grip. I know I'm not allowed to have it, but I want one personally. But anyways, I think it would be cool to swirl it in black and white to make it look like this guitar. Mike's probably laughing at me right now, but oh yeah. What was the biggest surprise when I played the first prototype of the Flat 5.1? Honestly, how good it was. It was really close. So when I got the first prototype, it was bare wood with no finish. So it was a bare wood body, and we used it to kind of test pickup revisions and hardware, test necks, neck shape, all that. And the first one showed up, strung it up. The pickups were not quite 100% there, but it was close already. And I mean real close. The neck shape was dead on because, of course, we measured that. We tweaked it. We went through to get that neck shape right. I was mostly just surprised at how good it was just like that. And now here's another interesting fact about that. So I had that first prototype. Then I gave it back to Mike. They painted it black. We did a few in different black finishes so that I could find the finish I liked exactly. Because for me, it's not just about the look. It's also about the feel and the thickness of the finish. And so until we arrived at this, there were a few prototypes. And I was playing basically the first model, that bare wood one, painted black. That became what I thought would be my favorite one because I was most comfortable on it. And then Mike brought over this one, which is off the line. This is my third one. And it's, you know, what you're going to get when you buy one of these guitars, just off the line. And it immediately became my favorite one. I just connected with it, and it felt the best and sounded the best. And yeah, the only thing I did was put this 3D printed switch tip from the prototype on this one, just because I think it's really cool. Don't be mad, Mike, because you guys get a black switch tip, but I just like this clear one, so I took it off and put it on this guitar because I think it looks really cool. And that was the biggest difference on the prototypes, and you know, the biggest surprise was just how good they were. It's a really, really, really solid guitar. Yeah. Should I play something else, or do we want to keep asking questions? Still 13 gauge strings. Yes. So these are pure nickel strings on here, gauge 13 to 58. So 13, 17, 25, 36, 44, 58. 36, 46, 58. And that GS 25 plain unwound. So that's what gives you this, you know, this tone. I mean, if I turn on the slapback and the fuzz, strings are a big part of it. You know, I'm trying to, like I said earlier, have the most amount of information available to me, because then that allows me to make choices and to have dynamic range. I want dynamic range, and, you know, so that needs headroom, clarity, precision, preciseness, you know, all of those things, dynamics. So all of it is a recipe. The strings, the, you know, the guitar, the pickups, the wiring, the cables I choose, the pedals I choose, excuse me, the amps that I like. It's all a part of the recipe for me getting out maximum information. Same reason I mic a speaker dead on the center of the cone 99% of the time, is because I'd prefer to have it and then take it away and manipulate it the way I want to with my hands, or with an EQ, or with a pedal, or with my tone knob, or whatever, as opposed to just not have it there available to me and try to fake manufacture it by adding and adding and adding. I don't like to do that, because you end up in a net negative when you're constantly adding things to your chain and your tone. But again, just my personal perspective and personal preference. All right. I think I want to play some blues. How's that sound? Let's play some blues. I'm realizing I'm playing all B flat today. If you know me, you know I just love B flat, but I didn't plan to only play B flat. I'll play a little bit, and then we'll pop back on and do a little bit more Q&A if you want, or we'll wrap it up. Sorry, I got carried away. Like I was actually playing music. And for a second, it felt like I was playing with people. Oh, man. So ruling. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. It's nice to just play and talk, mostly to talk about the guitar. I'm just really excited about it. And I'm proud. I'm proud of this guitar. I'm proud to be involved with Ibanez. So hopefully soon you can walk into Bax and pick one up and try it for yourself. And that's what I would implore anyone who's watching, even if you're not in the Netherlands, if you're not, anywhere in the world, if you're watching this, give this guitar a shot, because I think you will be surprised, honestly, at how good it is. It really is really good. There hasn't been a single person I've handed it over to and had check out that hasn't gone, whoa, and I'm just really proud of it. Worked hard on it, and I know everybody at Ibanez also worked hard on it. So look for it soon at Bax and everywhere else. And I've got some new music coming soon. If you're interested, keep tabs on me on my, my website, joshsmithguitar.com, or on Instagram or whatever, YouTube here. I've got new music coming soon, actually, a really new record that I'm super proud of. But thank you guys very much for having me. Thank you, Bax. Thank you, Ibanez, as always. Thanks, Mike at Ibanez, for organizing everything. It's been a pleasure to hang with you all and to talk about this guitar, of which I love and I'm really, really proud of. So thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. And yeah, if you got any more questions about the guitar, you can message me through my website or DM me on Instagram, and I usually try to get back to everybody. So if you have specific guitar questions that I didn't get to, hit me up. All right, ruling, everybody. Have a good one.